Our next movie is not only the first feature in a long time, starring television's top star, Bill Cosby, but it is also one of the worst movies of the year. In fact, I think I could just take my little mental editor and take out the words "one of" and just call it the worst movie of the year, because it's really such a cynical exercise. And don't take even my word for it. Bill Cosby himself has gone on talk shows to denounce this film. Maybe at some point there was an original inspiration for a good comedy here. I don't know. They certainly were not reluctant to spend a lot of money looking ridiculous in this movie, and sometimes that works, but not this time. The whole movie is a mess, and even though Cosby has disowned it, he cannot escape all the blame. I don't think so. In one scene, his 20-year-old daughter brings home a 66-year-old man that she wants to marry. Cosby is appalled. This guy is robbing the cradle. What does he do? He calls for a sandwich and a Coke. And then he holds the Coke bottle prominently next to his face for the rest of the scene. First it says Coca-Cola, then the next shot it says Coke, in case you missed the point. Who released this movie? Columbia. Who owns Columbia? Coca-Cola. What is Coca-Cola doing with this movie? They have a lot of products in this movie, Gene, that you can get a tie-in where you can get the product in connection with buying a ticket for the movie. I think that that is an all-time low. Bill Cosby, the richest man in show business, $67.5 million income last year, reduced to holding a Coca-Cola bottle next to his face in order to get a picture made at Columbia. He ought to be ashamed of himself.
He is the star of the highest-rated series in television history. The winner of 4 1987 People's Choice Awards, including Favorite All-Time Male Entertainer. The best-selling comedian of all time on records.
You don't mean... Yes.
He's got America in the palm of his hand.
All right.
And now you've got him on video cassette.
But I have nothing to wear.
Your average tale of your not-so-average super spy.
Kill him!
Adventure so cool, you can taste it.
Bingo.
America's living room legend, Bill Cosby.
How'd you get on this tape?
In Leonard, Part 6, on video cassette, only from RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video.
So what else is new?
250 episodes of Three Black Geeks. When me and Chris and DJ Sue came together and we started this, we thought to ourselves, hey, this will be fun to do over the weekend until one of us can find a fucking job. Then about 6-7 years later, we're still at the same spot. Now it's a little bit different. Now we're film critics. Now DJ Sue's officially in Japan. And D still hasn't had a solid ass job because fuck this economy. But
thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. But we are bigger, and I am so glad that we got to 250 episodes. And also, we have several shows, and all of them are good. And I like to say that I'm just going to get all the thank yous out right now. I want to say thank you to everybody that has listened to us over this time, and that because of y'all, we got to go to San Diego. We get invited to San Diego again. Because of y'all, we get to go to all these different conventions, and hopefully we're going to get bigger and bigger from there. All of us are MVPs in our own right. DJ Sue's an MVP because he has to deal with travel. Just dealing with that and dealing with the fact that there's a time zone. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to make time to do this show every week. He's an MVP for that. I don't want to start jerking my own self off because I would do that all day, but I'm not going to do that. MVP also goes to Chris because Chris, he's been on more episodes than anybody on this podcast. Not just Three Black Geeks podcast, but all the podcasts on threeblackgeeks.com. So, of course, he's putting in a whole lot of work doing his thing. And I just like to say, I love these two brothers beside me. We have made it to 250 episodes with the main show. Also, our first guest is here again. And he is our best guest. He's our best friend. actually, when it comes out. And it ain't a black person. Yeah, you see that? Three Black Geeks may look like a racist ass name, but we're not racist.
You swerved them. You swerved them.
Yeah, we swerved them. They didn't see that shit coming. And that's Moe Porne, Mr. Porne.
Hey! Oh, God.
I'm fantastic.
Yeah, man. From our humble beginnings where we did surviving the game.
Whoa. I need to hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't mean to interrupt all this wonderfulness, like this fucking hugging and shit that we got going on. But I just realized something, D. Do you realize what you just did?
What I do?
You did the black, like you did the reversal black equivalent of. We actually have one white guest.
we have a white friend.
When I think about it, when I really think about it, of all our guests, Mo's the only multiple episode white guest we had. Now,
no. Joe.
Huh? Joe, yeah,
we got Joe.
But Joe is like half Hispanic, half white.
Now I feel less special.
No, you're all the way white, Mo. Where's no way we get around that?
You're definitely all the way, Mo, because first of all, with the topics that you got going on with your shows, there have been times where I said, God, I want to get on this. I really do. I want to get on this just so I could just freak the fuck out of your listeners.
But there's a brown person that likes this.
There's a brown person that likes this? Holy shit.
Yeah, I think if you ever came, I mean, we don't really have guests on No Budget Nightmares ever. We did the experimentation on episode 10 with this is the funny part. Episode 10, which was also, mind you, about 6 years ago. We had John Cross on, and that's the last guest we've ever had who wasn't like a film director or a producer or an actor.
No, wait. Also, there was that time, if I'm not mistaken. God, this also goes back. There was a time that we crashed your show.
Yeah, we did.
Well, that was probably
Ricky O.
Yeah, Ricky O.
Yeah,
that was definitely
that was a different podcast. That was our other friend. That was our other friend Lewis.
Yeah,
that was his.
Yeah. But I was on that one though.
Yeah,
that's right.
I love that episode though. I still love that episode though. If I can't even find it no more, I thought I downloaded it. I just can't.
I think I got it on my computer.
You probably do, man. I had it on my old computer. My old computer's like, I don't know, somewhere in the dirt somewhere.
Put a bullet in his head like fucking Jeff Fahey, like that Jeff Fahey gift.
Why'd you do it? There's a lot of porn that doesn't need to be seen in the world out here. It needs to die. But so yeah, I thought it's kind of wonderful that we got Mo on this one.
So you guys are on episode 250.
Yes.
Okay, and it took you 6 years to get there.
Yeah.
No Budget Nightmares, also 6 years old, just past our 100 episode mark.
Yeah!
Any other show, it would have taken 4 years to do that. It took us 6.
Keep in mind, Mo, we're also balancing all of our other shows.
Right. But I don't have any other shows anymore, so we have no excuse whatsoever.
I think that's the one funny thing about when it comes to podcasts anyway. When it comes to podcasting, you have to realize that a lot of people a bunch of us, a shit ton of us are not getting paid for this shit. This is all of us coming out of our own time, own effort, and all the rest of that shit. And whatever we get from it, you get, whatever you get out of it, you can hope to stay doing a podcast longer than, I will say, 3 years, to be really honest with you. Anything longer than 3 years, you have a decent show, in my book. You know what I mean? Now, granted, you could be having a show for 10 years and you only got 10 listeners. That's a different story, but that's not going in.
You're just sitting in a closet talking to yourself.
You know what I mean? Telling you, man, the government is listening, man. All my fans, all 16 of you.
This week on The Tip. Hold on. I had a joke here. This week on Aficionado. I mean, I want to do that now. I want to start up like a fake podcast where all we talk about is Q-tips.
Tip. I like that.
Dude, that would fuck up so many people thinking that it's a porno podcast. It's like Ebony and Ivory, it's Moe Porne and 3 Black Geeks in the tip. It's like, oh shit.
In the tip. And you imagine there's some guy clicking on it, just running this shit.
I feel like that one would be called Just the Tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip. There's just so many. Oh man, I can imagine it. So, oh my gosh. But yeah, I find that very funny. That I find it like just seeing all the rest of our friends do it, because we have other friends too that have been doing this for some time also, and I think if you get past,
it's very incestuous. Like
it really is actually.
Yeah.
You tend to find a group of friends who all also have their own podcast, and you just keep going bouncing back and forth between their shows, and you have them on your show, and it's very, very incestuous.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. That's actually the best word for it too. It really is. So yeah, I think if you get past that 3-year mark, I think you're fine. And I mean this to anybody else that listens to us. If you get past that 3-year mark, what happened was me and Chris had the fucking awesome idea. Was like, hey D, I want to do a Power Ranger podcast. And here's me. Oh yeah, well I want to do a wrestling podcast. Hey D, we both look like virgins. Let's do it anyway. All right then.
It's like bet.
Bet. Fuck you. No, fuck you.
Which is ironic because D was the first one. He was doing Wrestle Corner videos, which were funny as shit, particularly with his kid.
Oh my gosh, man! And I put my son on a recent episode, and everybody liked it. And the only problem, I put my wife on one episode, they liked that too. But here's the thing about my wife: there's like 3 guys. Stop it! Stop it! Mine. I'm on kid number 3 now. I haven't pulled out. I won't pull out. Leave her alone. It's mine. 3 of them just like stalking, like, hey yo, D, your wife, man, she's so intelligent.
Just see D, just see a baseball bat just appear out of nowhere. Go on,
go on. Man, she's so intelligent, she's so bright, man. I wish I had a girl like that. Yeah, you do, don't you, motherfucker?
It's like that. You know that Eddie Murphy gif from I Spy where he's just like nodding his head like yeah,
something like that.
Fuck it, I'm gonna admit it. We are indirectly avoiding talking about this film.
Oh yeah, no, very much.
Oh yeah, we are
very much. So.
Yeah,
we haven't even said the name yet. We haven't even said the name yet. But getting back to my story here, we went through so much shit, and when I finally decided to return home for a particular event, and you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Universal Fan Con.
Can suck my balls.
Suck my balls. Universal Fan Con. Bag of dicks with your name on it.
A whole lot of it, man. I was so sad because we were supposed to have more shows, and actually it probably would have pushed up the 250 episode one. And this would have never happened.
Even though we had the pop-up convention to come and save the weekend for us, what I liked was it was the first time that all 3 of us were together doing something.
Yeah.
In a long time. And not only that, everybody else that was there knows you and CJ. But the minute I show up, very few people actually recognized me and said, "Holy shit, you're real!"
I know, right? You should have seen him. We was walking through the convention, people throwing Pokeballs at his head because they thought he was like a Mew or some shit.
Like, yeah, he actually is a DJ. And he's an actual DJ. Oh my god!
Yeah, that's what fucking really happened.
Yeah,
and I was fucking name, motherfucker. That's a title.
I know, right? It's a fucking title.
Yeah, he's not like DJ Tanner, It's.
You know how mad I am. There's not a white person right now walking through. Yeah, y'all, it's DJ Tanner. They're not taking advantage of that name.
No one's taking advantage of that.
I always thought about the idea of becoming a DJ and using DJ Tanner as the name, but I don't know enough about anything to do that, so I decided not to.
But I also take pride in knowing that during these podcasts and stuff, every once in a while I have my white whisper moment where I'm like, I know Mo is going to hear that joke and laugh, like when I bust out the Parker Lewis can't lose jokes, and he was like, somewhere Mo is laughing at that joke. I'm like, I'm sure he is.
And then, any mention of Corin Nick is okay in my book.
Then all nowhere, Eris will say something. Eris said one super white thing one time, and I forgot what it was. It had something to do with ABC back in the 80s or something like that. And I just thought in the back of my head, yo, Mo is owning it right now. I just know he is. That being said, let's talk about something out of the 250 episodes we never talked about. Let's talk about Bill Cosby. Wow.
Can I tell you folks that when we were coming up for the 250 episode, D had an inside joke, and again, when we have that synergy, it happens. I was like, you know what? Let's do Leonard Part 6, because, you know, Cosby's going to jail, and I don't like this movie. Might as well do it. Might as well.
Yeah. We had I gave it a choice, like we should do what movie should we do? I said, should we do Wait and Exhale? Because yes, it sounds funny, but Three Black Geeks really want to do Wait and Exhale. And hopefully we have somebody that can Photoshop us, because I'm already calling Photoshop us onto the cover of Wait and Exhale. I'm already calling Angela Bassett. Y'all motherfuckers can fight over it.
You know what? I'll take Little Rashawn. Fuck it. Right.
That just leaves me with two, right?
Yeah. Whitney, fucking big girl. I forgot her name all of a sudden.
The one that like
Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines.
Yo, real talk. Gregory Hines tore that coochie up. He did. We had a choice between Waiting to Exhale, Avid Children, and I know a bunch of our fans actually do like Final Fantasy. Don't worry, we're getting that franchise. And I said Leonard Part 6, and I said one other one I can't think of right now.
Well, the one that was brought up to me,
Devil May Cry.
Oh yeah, Devil May Cry.
No. I told you we're doing Devil May Cry in October. Yeah, that's a preview.
the one that was brought up to me was between either Leonard Part 6 or Disorderlies.
Oh yeah, because I wasn't sure if I can get you. That's why.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, let's do Disorderlies, and then you're like, no, we're doing Leonard Part 6. I'm like, all right, I guess.
Oh man.
Oh, Disorderlies is gonna happen because. Hey, look! I love the Fat Boys. They were an awesome group as a kid and stuff, and that movie was ridiculous. So it's like, yeah,
iconic.
Hey, D, pop quiz. Yes, exactly how long have we been trying to plan this Disorderlies?
That is a good question.
Okay, this is what happened.
I'm gonna say the last 3 years.
I'm gonna say at least
last three. Yeah, last three. I forgot. My job changed and I couldn't do it. Then your job changed and you couldn't do it. And then you decided to say, hey, fuck this cold weather. I'm going down to crazy ass Florida, which I got to be honest with you, the exchange rate on that whole thing doesn't make any sense, Mo.
No, I lost on this deal big time. Yeah.
What's the like? I'm going to trade in cold weather and wow, what you tell me, very good pizza. For
amazing food and culture. That's the important part. I traded away
using with that C word, but okay.
Yeah. like legitimate culture. Like there's an art scene there, there's a music scene there, there's an intellectual scene there. I traded all of that away, plus the cold winters, for Florida.
Wait a minute. You're in Daytona, right?
I am in Daytona.
Come on, it's Daytona. It's NASCAR and
spring break.
Like no way.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just tell you what. Okay. So I work at we'll just call it a friendly neighborhood store. You know.
You're just like. See, Mo was just like me. I worked at a friendly neighborhood store.
Right.
Exactly. No, but CJ. No. The difference, CJ, is yours was a variety store.
Yeah, because because right beside the Aladdin DVD was a Peter North DVD. So they
No. Down here I work. No, I'm serious. Like down here I work at like a normal place. But I work at two different locations, and one of them is on Beachside in Tourist Central.
I know where that's at too.
It's the fucking worst. It's the worst experience ever. I love my crew. I like the store. I like the adventure, so to speak, because every night you don't know if you're going to be shanked by a hobo or or you're going to get to see some scantily clad woman in a see-through top. You never know. More often than not, it's the hobo. But
Barry always sells you on sex first, doesn't it?
And right now we're still going through spring break. Spring break it's just ending. It's just petering away now. That first week of spring break was like the perfect fucking storm of shit. At the end of that week, was it was the last day of the first like real week of spring break. It was also the last day of fucking bike week.
Oh.
And
Wow.
on top of that, it was motherfucking St. Patrick's Day.
Woo.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it was Drunk Idiot Central. And my God, I wanted to murder everyone.
You know what, Mo?
And you're on beachside too. Oh my God.
Let's be real about this, Mo. You're white, so you probably could have got away with murder, and nobody would have questioned it at all because they would have understood.
And just to be honest, just putting it out there, you are in Florida, so
Yeah.
you definitely would have got away with it.
Oh, that's true. I would have gotten away with it.
Just
All
feed
you
them.
gotta
Just feed them
say
to
is
the.
that-
Just feed them to the giant alligators. You're fine. You're good.
There's always next year.
And I hate to be that black person, or say one of us did it. You could have did it.
Florida, man. Florida.
Terrible.
but
Actually,
now look.
you want to laugh? You want to laugh? I feel like my relationship with the black community has improved significantly since I've come down here, because I am a very liberal northerner, and the only people who I can talk honestly about my politics with are black people, because they all hate Trump down here. You know, most of them hate Trump down here. So like, I can stand that Trumpy's a real piece of shit to like almost any black person who walks into the store, and they'll be like, yeah, you know, but I have to hold my tongue like around everybody else, because you don't know if they're supporters or not. Like, man, I have never seen so many MAGA hats and fucking Confederate flags and like right-wing bullshit. My God.
oh,
The
You
redneck.
left Connecticut.
I left Connecticut. Yeah.
You knew that was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen. I was hoping for a change of life. I'm actually looking to move again now that this is the first time I've mentioned it publicly, to be honest. And, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of a better situation it is, but I'm actually kind of thinking about moving up to Georgia.
Wait, what part? What part?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Savannah.
oh, okay.
I
Okay.
have family in Savannah.
Right.
That is actually decent. It's actually decent in there. Now, that being said, you're still going to see a manga hats.
Oh yeah. No, I thoroughly expect that, but at least I'll have really adorable accents.
He makes a good point. And
Man, point.
Mo, I will agree, and I will agree with your with your motion to move to Savannah. Just stay the fuck away from Marietta. That's all I'm saying. Done.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? Here's the fun part about that. At least for me, this is how it is. It's like Florida's terrible. Georgia, man. South Carolina, no.
Oh dear God, no.
I call that up north Florida. No.
Speaking of which, if we're going in no direction, so Bill
Yeah,
Cosby,
right.
awesome comedian, prolific rapist, and just
Oh my God.
all around not
piece
a
of
real good guy, piece of
You know
shit
what?
dude.
It's weird. It's weird. Even as a kid, and Mo's a little bit older than us, so he can kind of help me on this.
Really?
Like, yeah, just a little bit.
Bring the age thing into it.
I said a little bit.
It's fine. It's fine.
Did I
it's
give
fine.
years out? No.
It's not like it was like Mo is 60 years old, guys. He's very old. It's like, come on.
That's old. It's nasty.
I remember the 70s.
But anyway, I think all of us can agree to the extent that the Cosby Show it's a legendary show. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's actually really funny. It's a good show. Now, here's the funny thing I always had. Now, like I said, Mo, you can help me with this.
Sure.
There was always talk in the 90s of Bill Cosby doing some fucked up things to women.
Yes.
Am I wrong with that?
No, not wrong at all. Not
Yeah,
wrong.
there was always a thing about that. And of course, the black community made up this really ignorant story that the reason why Bill Cosby had people coming at him was because he wanted to buy NBC.
I need to buy that shirt, by the way. Buy NBC.
He said Bill Cosby wanted to buy NBC. And if I'm also now, and they were saying that's the reason why he got kicked off NBC. I'm like, no. And I heard this as a kid, and tell me if I'm right again, Mo. Bill Cosby was a dick to work with and a dick to everybody that worked at NBC because they didn't roll out the red carpet for him.
No, you're not wrong at all. Here is the story you heard a lot about Bill Cosby was that, yes, is he a comic genius? Yeah, he kind of is. You can't really deny that. However, is he a huge piece of shit? Fuck yeah, he is. And you've heard that left and right ever since I was a kid. I remember being like 9 or 10. It wasn't even the 90s yet, hearing stories about Bill Cosby being a piece of shit, you know? So it's nothing new. It's nothing new at all. Bill Cosby's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And then look, and I like how people and Chris, you can attest this. I like how black people like to go behind. You're like, oh man, we got to stand behind Bill Cosby. We got to stand behind Bill Cosby. But you motherfuckers laugh when Eddie Murphy was making fun of that dude. What was that? Delirious or Raw? When he
that was Raw.
Yeah, Raw.
Oh, you laughed like a motherfucker. And see, ever since I saw Raw as a kid, that's why I always had this little. Bill Cosby.
Right.
I mean, it didn't.
I was the same way when I saw Raw. I said, something tells me that something tells me, even though this is supposed to be a joke, no, I really believe that this was true.
I believe if all of that was a lie, I believe the one thing that Eddie said was a real thing. I told this to Richard. Richard said, next time you see that motherfucker, tell him to suck my dick. I didn't know that part. I believe 1,000%.
I believe that Richard.
That's real.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing of it is too, because I had a crush on her when Lisa Bonet came out and was like, Bill Cosby more or less is a dick. I was like, I mean, Lisa Bonet ain't gonna lie, so
yeah.
I
like how Lisa Bonet right now is like Bonet is like straight up light skinned drunk auntie at the cookout right now. I told y'all motherfuckers, y'all ain't want to listen to me.
Momoa's trying to calm her down. Shut the fuck up, Aquaman.
Yo, calm down. It ain't like that. Shut the fuck up, Aquaman. Let me. It's like, I'm sorry. She does the light skin move after that. I'm sorry, baby. Let me make you feel good. Lisa, stop. Let me make you feel good. Lisa, stop.
Is that your impression of Halle Berry in Monsters Ball?
Yeah.
No. Like, no, Mo. That was Halle Berry in Jungle Fever.
Oh man.
Halle Berry and Jungle
Fever. I was gonna say she says the exact same thing in Monsters Ball.
You're right. You are right.
Let me make you feel good.
But Bill Cosby's movie career, it's funny to me because I loved him back in the day with him and Sidney Poitier and Let's Do It Again and all those movies and stuff. But
Uptown Saturday Night, I'm gonna say it. Uptown Saturday Night is Eris's guilty pleasure. He loves that movie.
Hey, look, I love Uptown Saturday Night.
No, it's really it's Let's Do It Again. Uptown Saturday Night. Both of those movies, they're not the same movie. Like one's a sequel to the other.
Yeah, they're a sequel to the other. I know that, but
and
the one
Piece of the Pie is just the third movie that just is there. But hey, we get Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby back at it again. So.
Piece of the Pie is the Shaft in Africa of that series.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we acknowledge that it exists. We just don't talk about it.
How come we never got a Shaft Among the Jews movie?
You know what, man? With this new,
because I mean that was the last book. Why? Come on, they should have made a movie out of it.
I mean, we got Son of Shaft, so maybe they might throw a Jewish woman in there just because, man.
Son of Shaft.
No, that's a real movie, bro. I'm not even joking.
I'm laughing because I know.
See, everybody think I'm joking. I'm like, no, that's a real thing. They're still trying to make fetch with Homeboy from Surviving Remorse, and I'm like, hey, Hollywood, he's like the Black Jai Courtney to me, honestly.
You're not getting nothing out of him. You know what?
You tried with Independence Day, now you're trying with this.
Now here's the funny thing with Bill. Bill will always be what he is. I think. Just at the end of the day, this is why I told you Mo was going to get deep for only 2 seconds. Trust me.
Yes, let's get deep.
When it comes to Bill Cosby, I really do mean this. I really wish there were more black men like him that get about giving back. He really did. A lot of us learned letters from this motherfucker.
Got to put an asterisk next to that, D, because you say up until the pound cake speech.
Don't worry. I'm getting there. Shut the fuck up. I'm getting there.
Now wait, AD. Just so you know, I have one item of Bill Cosby memorabilia. God, does anybody remember?
Is it one of his Rohypnol?
No.
There you go.
See, there you go. I was trying to bring some positive emotions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It is positive. It will possibly put your ass to sleep or your butt be in the air at the end of the night.
No. Seriously. God, this is going to be hella nostalgic. Does anybody remember Bill Cosby's picture pages?
Oh my God! I always wanted his
wow.
picture pages. I always did, and that's what I'm saying. I knew people that had that.
And just so you know, I still have that VHS.
Good for you, brother.
I thought you were going to say you had an Ichabod marker, which I would have been super impressed with.
No, I did have that.
Man,
I had that thing. It even made the same fucking sound as it does in the on picture pages. Oh,
come on! He taught us how. He taught education back to kids, man. And on top of that, he gave back when he could to Philly and all the rest of that shit. You know what I mean? He actually kind of gave a crap. I had a course in college in PG, and when I went to PG Community College, I had a course where like you look at these videos and you just do whatever. It was taught by Bill Cosby, him breaking down words and you knowing where the root words and coming from. I could give it up. This nigga actually helped me learn words. So I'm like, yo, you cannot erase what he has done positive.
Wait, hold on. Not to be not serious here for a moment, but you didn't learn words until community college?
Huh?
Peach County Public School fucked us all up, Mo. All right.
Come on, man. Come on now, man. This is during the Clinton administration where he gave my parents a lot of money, but didn't give us education. That's actually a real thing. Look it up, black people. But nah, I really thought it was like awesome how he did a whole lot of educational stuff and all that stuff. Now, this is where it all turns turns basically for me. Do y'all remember when Bill Cosby just decided everybody that was born after 1975 is the reason why black people are failing?
Yo, he Hogan leg dropped on the whole black community.
Hey, Mo. One day we woke up saying, "Hey man, you know what, man? The Brown Hornet. It made me want to be a comic book writer. Hey man, Fat Albert, man, that was the first black kids I saw on television. Man, that was good, man. Bill Cosby is a positive influence on. You know what the problem is? You're always smoking the weed and having babies. Look at yourselves and look at your jeans and look at your hip hop and the music. Yo,
You'll see.
It ain't like jazz."
That's why I love the Boondocks when they parody Bill Cosby when he was talking and shit. That was the funniest shit ever.
Like hold up, the Boondocks did it. The Simpsons did it. No, when the Simpsons did it, it was great because he name dropped all of his commercials. He's like, he was like, jazz is like Kodak film. No, wait, jazz is like Pudding Pops. No, jazz is like he said like it was like
new Coke.
Yeah, he said
like
jazz is like the new Coke. It'll be around forever.
Yo, and I remember when the Boondocks, before it was even a cartoon, when it was just in comics, the Washington Post.
Family Guy. My bad.
Huh? Yeah, Family Guy did something. But I remember the Washington Post. I mean, not the Washington Post. But yeah, actually, this all goes in the same thing. Aaron McGrew ahead and made fun of Bill Cosby, making fun of basically, talking about us all that in this comic, right? And then the Washington Post had to issue an apology for the comic from Aaron because Aaron McGruder went too far in their opinion. I'm like, yo, Bill Cosby had the pull to make other black people in higher stances like, you can't talk about Bill Cosby like that. You can't talk about Bill Cosby like that. Even D.L. Hughley one day got on Tom Joyner morning show and was talking about Bill Cosby. Tom Joyner stopped him where he was at. Like, you can't talk about Bill Cosby like that. And DL was like, why the fuck can't I? So, and that's when we got the famous thing that came on the radio with Bill Cosby was on there talking to DL Hughley, and DL was just telling him straight up, so what about all the women you raped?
Damn.
I mean, yo, and it was so funny. He said, this better not make it air. DL was like, the hell it will. And they basically made him because of that, D.L. Hughley lost his radio show because of that, because Bill Cosby had enough power to do that. So when black people say, oh, man, you mean to tell me he had all that power? Yeah, Bill had a lot of power. So the fact that Bill is in the situation where he is right now, where he faking blindness so he can't go to jail. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care what happens to him in jail. I just wanted to see him in handcuffs. He can have a heart attack the next day before going to jail, and I'm still satisfied. Just the fact that he did the crimes.
But that's such a white thing to do, though.
Yeah. It is. Before they get in the jail cell, they're like, actually, that'd be fitting. All this time, die like a white man before you get to the jail.
Well, now I ask Mo this because I already mentioned this to you guys, but I want to ask somebody else who's not like who hasn't been on the show. So
you can say it. Someone who's not black. I get it.
For this way.
I wasn't even going to go there. What's up? No, this is a theory of mine. Ever since Hugh Hefner passed away, everybody got caught.
It's like fucking Pandora's box just opened.
It is. It's like
he was the keeper of secrets.
Yes. Yeah. Something like that. It was more like when Kratos kills any of the gods in God of War 3. Every time you kill a god, bad shit happens.
Yeah.
So when he passed away, the cloud of protection that everybody in Hollywood had faded off with him.
Well, you know what? Here's a good perspective on that. Well, you be the judge if it's a good perspective. I don't know. Hugh Hefner was sort of the last of the acceptable misogynists, you know. Yes. And once acceptable misogyny was stripped away, that's when everything started happening. That's when people are getting in trouble for shit they should have been getting in trouble for forever, you know. But as long as that one remnant of acceptable misogyny was still exist, and don't get me wrong, I actually have a lot of respect for Hugh Hefner, even though he is a terrible human being. You'll find a lot of my heroes were terrible human beings.
I think everybody's heroes are terrible human beings, man.
And that's exactly. That's why they say never meet your heroes. You're going to be disappointed because most people are terrible human beings in real life. But I think that's the case. I think once that acceptable veil, that final wisp of cloth, so to speak, of Hugh Hefner's acceptable misogyny floated away and burned up, with his death, that's when society as a whole said, "Oh, can we stop fucking around now and start fucking holding people accountable for the bullshit they're doing?"
I mean, really, man. Like, now, granted, yeah,
that's really how I feel about it.
But still, yeah, granted, I hate how people are like, well, Trump is still president. Look, it's America, yo.
Trump is an overreaction to 8 years of having a black guy in office, basically.
You ain't lying about that.
It's exactly what it is. Yeah, because all of the crazy ass motherfuckers out there said to themselves, "Holy shit, we just had 8 years with this black dude. We're gonna have fucking 8 years with this woman now? No!" And they fucking went out in droves to make sure that shit didn't.
Here's the shocker, bro. It was a white woman. You would think by default you win off the break for a white woman. It's like, wow, they ain't white women. God damn.
Part about that. But that was really fun part. It was white women who went against the white.
Like, yo, that's the ultimate heel turn right there. That's the ultimate heel turn.
Hey, D, I can already tell you where she lost all the white women when she mentioned
having the last name Clinton.
No, more
not
like
even
when
that.
She said,
No.
She lost. That's where she lost.
Yes, thank you, CJ. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Black women were like, sure, we'll vote for you, but at the same time, white women was like, nah, not today. Sorry. Nope. You saw what you did to Lewinsky? Fuck you, bitch. We're done.
I don't think it was that. I think it was more so. I think it was just more so something like, so what do you want to deal with? Do you want to deal with a bitchy woman or the douchebag guy at your job? Well, the douchebag guy at my job, at least he did something during Christmas time. So I'm going to go for it had to be something basic.
So today, we're talking about a movie that really marked a downturn in Cosby's movie career path before he said, fuck this shit, I'm going back to TV. Leonard Part 6, which, when you really look at the movie, it's nothing but basically Cosby is fighting vegans.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's like, huh.
The hero of the film is an anti-environmentalist.
No, for real. It is one of the most. Wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
I like how this movie is supposed to be a silly, wacky movie, but this was during that time before Naked Gun really set the trend. Well, that's bullcrap because Airplane was out. So how do you not know?
Well, and Mel Brooks have been doing movies for years.
Yeah,
So
that too.
It's not. Yeah,
doing movies. How do you not get the
You want to know why, D?
formula?
Because we found out that this is Bill Cosby's kryptonite. When he actually has to write a fucking movie, he can't write for shit.
Effing new. Now the director of this.
Why didn't we cover Ghost Dad?
Oh, we're covering Ghost Dad this October. Yeah, I'm finally opening up that. I'm opening up that motherfucker. We've been waiting on that for a minute.
I've always mentioned that movie every single year.
And every single year, Chris goes, "Oh, you know what? Let's hold off on that."
Then every day I remember Omar Gooding was a thing, hence Ghost Dad. So, yeah.
and look, you know the reason why I stay away from it? Easy. Some of the worst green screening I have ever seen. Good Lord, I hate that movie.
You know what? We're gonna get an asshole on Ghost Dad thing. Still better than Steppenwolf. I'm like, hey, dude, shut the fuck up.
No, it's gonna.
It's
gonna be like a couple guys like, I take this over the CGI. Shut up.
Shut up. Stop it. It's not.
It ain't that bad. Now,
But speaking of bad composite work, though, let's talk about Leonard Parks.
You want to talk about some bad? Yo, the movie starts off showing us clips that happens later on in the movie.
I love it.
Oh my god.
Dude, it felt like Power Rangers when they showed you next time on Power Rangers. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what made you think you can get away with that, Bill? You can't do that in this movie. You can't.
Yo, it ain't often that the movie whips out his dick and slaps him before anything starts.
Yo, when the movie shows him on a fucking ostrich jumping off a building, I'm like, okay, wow, you just blew your load right there, huh? You just
Boy, want to know what?
Well, they're like, we spent a lot of money on this claymation. We're going to use it as many times as we can.
Boy, I saw that. I paused. I paused the movie and I walked away from the. I was like, no.
The fact that they started this movie off with. They started the movie off by shooting their load. No, I'm sorry. They Tarantino'd this. They Tarantino'd it before it was a thing. I just saw 3 scenes. I stopped right after I saw the ostrich. I stopped and I just said, "How long is this movie?"
Oh yeah, I did the same thing. You know what's bad when Moonwalker had better special effects than you, and you're a full-fledged.
And it came out the same year.
It's the power of Michael Jackson. He's magic. All right.
I don't, whatever. But you know what's bad? All of a sudden they just shoot over the Cadbury out of nowhere. You're expecting something like, wait, what the fuck just happened? So just to dodge,
just so you know, real quick, the CinemaSins would have a fucking field day with this movie.
Oh my god!
Well, they're fucking jokes anyway. So yeah,
I'm about to say they're fucking jokes.
Hey, but guess what, guys? This is our second Joe Don Baker movie.
Ah, yeah, all right, yeah, woo! All right,
because he was look. Joe Don Baker, I think this is because we said it in Congo when we were talking about it. He loves going over the top when he gets angry. He did it in this movie.
I love Joe Don Baker. I really do. And honestly, I think he deserved better than this movie.
Who else deserves better than this movie? Freaking Gloria Foster. What are you doing in this movie?
Fucking Oracle. It's like, wow. D had a good, valid statement about her. She's literally fucking bottom barrel Rita Repulsa.
She was.
No, that's entirely true. But she is legitimately the best thing about this movie.
She is. She's the best thing about the movie. Her facial expressions, her overacting.
Honestly, she's basically just playing low rent Eartha Kitt, but that's fine.
That's low rent Eartha Kitt. Yeah.
I like to think her and Eartha Kitt had beef back in the day, and then it just kind of nothing transpired about that. And
I do have this feeling that Eartha Kitt was approached by Bill with this. And Eartha was like, "Nigga, get away from me."
You know what?
I
want nothing to do with your movie.
I really thought that was also the case, that Eartha was approached first, and so Bill just said, "Fuck it." Like, Gloria, you're Eartha Kitt's understudy, so I'm picking you.
Gloria's like, look.
She's just like, marvelous, darling, marvelous.
Marvelous. It's like, you know what, whatever. I got my pay, so let's do this.
I'll tell you what, though, you say Gloria Foster. I'm looking at Moses Gunn like, what the fuck are you doing in this movie, dude?
Yo, I think people, you know what, for Bill Cosby to have the name and have the celebrity that he has, it still shocks me that there's not a lot of people in this movie. Either A, they read the script, or B, Bill Cosby really is that difficult to work with. That's just amazing to me.
I kind of makes me wish I had done a little bit of research into this before coming on, but I don't do that, so it never would have happened. But like, I'd love to know how many recastings took place before.
Oh my gosh! I tried to look for it, Mo. I've tried to look for what I could of this movie. All I found was the same thing. This movie is shit. This movie is shit. And to Bill Cosby's credit, when he got the Razzie Awards that he got for this movie, he went on the Johnny Carson show and said, "Hey, guess what? I swept him." Give him his respect. I give him respect.
I mean, you know what though? I told you this though. Victoria Ryle's on there, and I am shocked she hasn't popped up with a Bill Cosby story. I am shocked.
Oh, you know she probably has one. Well, one that, you know what? His character divorces his wife because he was sleeping with a 19-year-old woman, and I thought to myself, this movie is trying its best to make me make fun of it.
Art imitates life.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I'm like, how did he get that 19-year-old?
I mean,
oh my God.
It's like your movie. Okay, so basically, Medusa, that's Gloria Foster's character. She is basically vegetarian and stuff, and she has animals taking out the CIA agents and stuff. A fucking rainbow trout ate a guy. Yes, yeah. A rainbow fucking trout ate a dude. I'm like, okay, wow, that's where we're at right now. Huh.
I'm going to state for the record that the concept for this film is actually pretty good. The idea that somebody is that you have a villain, quote unquote villain, who is an over the top environmentalist, to the point where they want to wipe out the human race in order to save the planet. Like, I mean, it's something that by now has been done several times and better.
It's very Captain Planet-esque.
Right, exactly. But
this was the late 80s.
Right, yeah, again. But the idea that they're using mind control on animals to have them go around killing people, that honestly, I think that's a great idea on paper. What they did with it.
Oh my God, you're not lying. On paper.
On paper.
Sits. I like the idea.
I mean, there's a scene where we literally see a bunch of frogs jump a fucking Bonneville into the water, and I'm like, okay.
CJ, I almost checked out of this movie from that scene.
But I mean, like, this is one of those movies where you could legitimately you could describe this movie to somebody who's never seen it, not mention the title, of course, and easily convince somebody to watch this. Because it's one of those movies that on paper sounds good. It's just that it's a piece of shit.
It really is, and that's
the
only story. That's the only story that I found of this movie is that
he fights vegans with ground beef.
With ground beef, ground beef, my dude.
He makes a man's head explode by having the guy eat a hot dog.
Now
it's a magic hot dog, Mo. It's a magic hot dog.
The best part about that though is when his head explodes, it's sawdust. That's the best part about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, Mom, you want to know something sad though? When that happened, I was sitting there like, all right, I got to be honest with you. That was actually fucking funny.
Yeah, there's
all the stuff in this movie.
There's a couple of moments. Yeah,
that was the best joke in the movie. That was funny.
I'm not afraid of little meat.
It's like, I guess if there are some Hebrew national hot dogs for make his head explode. It's like, Jesus.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Like, all of the stuff that involves Medusa is pretty decent. You know, it's just that Bill is such a bad leading man in this film that, like, you don't care about him. You're not interested in what he's doing. You just want to be. You're just sitting watching the movie, going, "Go back to the villain. I want to see what other."
Because he's basically doing nothing. Bill is doing nothing but like his like sketch comedy kind of things and stuff. And some of it's funny a little bit, like when Joe Don Baker basically sends an assassin after him and stuff, and he drags the body in there and stuff. That whole sequence of everybody tripping over the body, I laughed a little bit. Like, okay, that is actually pretty funny.
They do that a lot. There's a running gag of what I call it comedy torture, where you do the same thing over and over again. But you have to take it too far. Like, you can't just do it a couple of times until it's no longer funny. You have to do it 3 more times after that, so it goes back to being funny again. With literally everyone tripping over that body, and then later when he's watching his daughter in the play and everybody's bumping their head on that thing on the off from the ceiling. Like literally every man is bumping his head on that, and like those are two legitimately funny scenes. Like there's a funny gag because he takes it too far. Now here's the thing: imagine either of those scenes in the hand of the Zucker brothers, either one of them.
Yeah,
they would have been done to perfection.
Yeah,
it
would have been great. I think that's really what it came down to, because they said there was a lot of, at least what I read, there was a lot of this between the director and Bill Cosby. That's where everything got bad, because
yeah. Can I quote the director? He was asked years later about his work on this film.
Please do.
He said it. I quote: "The opening was, it was a terrible mistake. When anyone gets into that position, Bill Cosby's position of power in the 1980s, mind you, they are surrounded by sycophants and no one tells them the truth. But Cosby just wasn't funny. I couldn't tell him directly. I'd say it feels slow, and he'd say, you worry about construction, let me worry about funny."
Damn.
Wow.
You say Bill Cosby isn't funny, it's like, shit.
Wow.
Whatever, Ghost Dad.
Wow. I mean, he just like, boy, that's not fun. But that's where it is. Bill Cosby's power has always gotten him in trouble. Always gotten him in trouble. You can tell when a movie drags. If a movie drags or the show drags, it's because Bill thought it was funny and nobody was going to tell him no. You could tell. Even episodes of the Cosby Show where you look at it, it's like, that ain't funny, but I'm pretty sure Bill raised hell that day.
You know where somebody should have told him no when he did that last comedy special. That shit was a piece of shit. That comedy special was a piece of shit. I had high hopes for it, and I was like, this isn't funny. What's going on here?
I have a feeling that anytime anybody said him no, that he just slipped something in their drink and then raped them. Too soon? Too soon?
No. Mo, you forgot to add, slips something to their drink and rapes them. No matter who it is, man, woman, or vegetable.
I just thought that was implied.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's like the default setting for Cosby. So,
Man, we call it. Look, me and Chris have passionately every time we refer to Bill. It's not Bill. It's Pill. We call him Bill
Cosby.
Wow.
Boy, but it's like he just walks around with Ambien. She will never know.
I just
wonder if there's somebody out in like Oakland who calls himself Trill Cosby.
Oh yeah, people call him Trill Cosby to be funny. Yeah. And then they realize, holy shit, he did rape a woman.
Hey, look, I said it best. Bill had to go to jail for Meek Mill to get freed. So it's about even.
And they both from Philly, so that kind of equals out.
Yeah, it equals out. I mean, but here's the thing: the whole thing about this movie, okay? So because we're gonna be all over the place, I don't fucking care going in order.
Oh god, this is one of these movies where we have to be everywhere.
Because here's the thing:
how does a movie on this level? Oh god, I can't believe I'm using this word. How does this film, using the word film very, very loosely, how does this film run with a $24 million budget from just production plus $9 million in marketing?
And it only made $5 million total.
Hey, easy on the $5 million. Easy on that. It barely made $5 million.
I rounded it.
$9 million in marketing?
In marketing? What advertisements were there for this? Wow. I was alive in '87. I didn't even see anything like this.
Hey, we were 3 years old, so I have to guess that the marketing involved.
I was old enough to remember, and I don't remember it.
CJ, you can't use that on me. See, first of all, I was old enough to remember Moonwalker. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he advertised it in his pudding pops. I guess I don't fucking know.
I think there's only one thing to really blame this movie on. It's just the fact that
Bill wrote it. There you go.
What you say?
Bill wrote it. That's. I mean, I'm just saying it. I'm going to go back to that every time.
Nah, I think the reason why it failed was because nobody was bringing the energy and intensity of Bill's mugging to this.
Even Bill. No, look, real talk, man. Bill, his character just looked like he didn't want to be in this movie.
Yo, that's the problem about it, because half the time it was like Like, why can't you be a better husband? I was trying to be a better husband, but you slept with that girl. She fell in my bed. He might as well have said that.
Yeah, I mean, because there's one point where he's talking to his wife and stuff, and we just see her mouth and stuff, and then all of a sudden we get montage moment where he's working out and, you know, jogging and stuff. Like, oh, it's Bill being silly. Okay, fine, you know, whatever and stuff. But it's like
all that shit, you
yeah,
know.
So it's like, all right, cool, fine, whatever and stuff. But yeah, the whole movie is just revolving around that, like I said, the environmentalists and stuff, and like the one weird part of this movie, right? Was
the
when
one weird part.
Okay, well, sorry. I said one weird part. There's multiple weird parts. When he meets the freaking hippie lady or whatever that gives him all the magic meat and stuff. That was weird.
Okay, again, like Mo said, it's in the hand of a better director and a better writer. Mm-hmm. That could have been funny.
Well, the problem is, and here's another thing where it makes me wonder if there was a casting thing here, because that was Anna Levine, okay?
Yeah.
Who was playing that role. Tell me that she's not playing a low-rent Carol Kane.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you. If it was Carol Kane, that would have been hilarious.
It would have been amazing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I would have loved it, actually, if it was Carol Kane.
It would have been much better.
Can I also add that this is one of... this is also another trope in Cosby films where he brings in these characters that are just...
And date rapes them.
We're just gonna ride that train, Mo.
Oh yeah, we are. Because
I've already bought my ticket and I'm already seatbelted in. Thank you.
Yeah, we are, because 8 out of 10, she got it.
Lord.
She woke up in a trailer with her panties missing. That's all I say.
You know what's bad? You know, no.
Aside from this movie,
no. Aside from this movie, no. It's something I really gotta mention. This also goes into the trope of Bill Cosby's films where he has these characters that come in and they're just weird for the sake of being weird.
Well, you know, it's Cosby trying to be funny for no reason.
Funny. No, because we have this character, right? And in Ghost Dad, you had the other dude. What's his name? He was the one that actually gave him advice and told him, well, technically you're not dead. Your spirit just hopped out of your body and you're just running around doing stuff. Edith, that's his name.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you just have these characters.
Yeah, these weird.
They don't add nothing to the plot.
Yeah, exactly. They add nothing. You're just there.
Though, but I refuse to believe that if that was,
you know what me and my friends call that? We call that Joe Exposition. That's the character's name. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It's always Joe Exposition. They're the ones who show up, tell you what's happening in the plot, and then just magically disappear.
DJ Sue has a name for that too. DJ Sue was like, okay, so they walk over to him and they say exposition, and the main character goes exposition, and there you go.
Yeah. It's exposition ex machina, basically.
Because there's a joke that, like, it could have been better executed, because I could see this as, like, a Mel Brooks joke. We found out his wife literally lives a block down the street from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay.
That could have been funny. Because you could imagine Mel Brooks doing that same scene, walking out of his house, walking two doors down.
Exactly. That would be the difference. Mel Brooks would have had the bitch living next door.
It would have been hilarious because he would have did this grand thing, go into the car, pull out, turn left to that house, pull into that driveway, stop. It will be shot to make it funny. And this is where and you can tell again, this is where the difference between a writer and a director comes into, because I'm pretty sure Bill said, nah, that won't be funny, do it like this. And he's telling the director to do it like that. I mean, look, I understand.
I know comedy.
You know what? That's what I'm saying. I don't understand this shit. I know this is a useless movie, and this director knows useless movies because, come on, he did on Silly Slicker's Curly's Gold. He knows
the
about
inferior movie that nobody cares about.
Nobody cares about Curly's Gold. Yeah, there was a couple funny parts, but nobody cares about that movie. But You just told that you can pretty much tell that the director wanted to have it his way, and you could see that certain shots and certain things that go in the movie either go too long or they're not elaborated for nothing.
Well, and here's the thing, and you guys probably already mentioned this, but here's the thing: I'm looking at his IMDb, and it just dawns on me this is the first movie he ever directed. Like the first feature-length film he ever directed. So, yeah, of course he's not going to have any fucking sway with Cosby.
Oh, of course not. You know? Of course not. You can tell that, and that's the main thing. You can tell that he really just was like, yes, Mr. Cosby, yes, Mr. Cosby, yes, Cosby.
Although, in fairness, looking at everything he's done, with the exception of a couple of British comedies, he hasn't done much of anything particularly good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, outside of a couple of Mr. Bean episodes and maybe a few, and like you see, he had something to do with Rowan Atkinson. He's in that fucking circle. He really didn't do anything.
Yeah,
he really didn't do anything. Well, you know what? That's enough of that. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about what I really, really, really want to talk about. Did Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby being women.
Actually, you know what? Here's a good thing. No, shut up. Did anybody notice that when he was talking to his daughter, she gave him a Coke? And as he's talking, you can see that the Coke logo was facing the camera.
Oh, yeah, that's pure.
Oh, yeah, the product. Yeah, the product placement out the ass.
Dude, when I saw that, I was like, man, I wish I had me an ice cold Coca-Cola. And then later on, where they was in the what was that? At the play when he was going to see his daughter backstage, and you saw all that lava soap. I was like, gee, I wish I could wash my hands with some lava soap.
I'm surprised the camera rolling. I'm surprised the camera rolling didn't have like giant ass Kodak logo on it.
I'm surprised.
Actually, doesn't his micro camera have a Kodak logo on it?
I think it did, or something like that, man. I think it did have something sort of like that. I'm surprised when his daughter dropped her balls on stage, and then you didn't see a big ass Hanes sign just hanging around.
Hanes, the official underwear of Leonard Part 6.
Yo, that was actually that scene could have been funnier also when his daughter got butt naked on stage. But here's my problem about that. What was that play about?
I don't know.
What was it about?
You know what? I know a lot of things in this movie don't work, but that's the one that's going to keep me up that night. I think hell was going on in that play?
Honestly, I think that was their attempt at being funny, as most of the things are in this movie. Right, an attempt at being funny by showing. Like, I thought it actually would have been much funnier if they showed the play and had the daughter actually be like incredibly talented, you know. And have it go like off the wall, that sort of way, and had her like really know what the fuck she was doing, so that he could like have that aha kind of moment, like holy shit, and then had her drop her fucking drawers and have the shame moment.
Yeah, that would have been much greater. This one, she's just spouting off lines and stripping off her clothes. This
is just the stereotype of parents are always right and they're always making stupid decisions.
Bill Cosby, it just bleeds it, don't it? Now, here's the other thing. I will say this. It does give me another funny joke where a guy was right beside Bill. He's like, that's my daughter. And the guy has like, yeah. I laugh like, okay, that's funny. But
again, it would have been funnier if he like leaned over and said, "She's very talented." You know,
she's amazing.
Yeah, she's quite the talent.
Since we're going into mentioning characters that we believe were a result of a casting issue.
Well, you mean all of them.
With all of them, but I mean, even with his daughter. So since we got Van Village Ray Dong Chong here.
God damn.
That means, hey, before you go into that, I'm not going to say that. The only person I believe that said really 100% yes to this movie, unfortunately, was Joe Don Baker. I think he said, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm doing this movie." Bill Cosby, gangbusters. I'm making my money. I'm sorry.
Once of a lifetime opportunity.
He had to be the only guy hyped to sign on to this movie.
Wait a minute, hold up. I'm getting ready to do a movie with 1987 Bill Cosby. Fuck yeah, sign me up.
Do I get coke in this or what?
Do I get coke?
Well, they are a sponsor.
Now you forget. This is Joe Baker. So he probably said, I better get all the Jello pudding I want in here.
Yeah, he was bringing his own Coke anyway.
Hey, Mo, you know, I love Mystery Science Theater. They are wrong as hell for what was it, Final Justice, where everything's food with Joe Baker. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, y'all wrong, man. Stop making fun of my boy like that. Even though, yeah, everything he breathes food. So anyway.
Well, it is kind of amazing that this movie didn't hurt his career because he just moved on to In the Heat of the Night, and I was like, oh, well, just moved on.
Baker looks like a.
Are you kidding me? Joe Baker is the closest thing to a true life Teflon Don you'll ever see.
You are not lying.
He can do anything. He can do fucking anything, and people would be like, "Oh, he was in Walking Tall. Give him a pass." You know?
Yeah. Which I'm very sad The Rock didn't call him up to do a cameo in that movie. I'm very sad.
Should have. He absolutely should have. Yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody will run what movie. He is like, I always said that Joe Baker is Brian Dennehy if Brian Dennehy never said no.
Man, listen, how is him and Brian Dennehy not been in a movie together? The world would implode.
There had to be one movie they had to be together.
No, that's entirely too much barrel chest and
that the craft service table ain't had a chance.
Look, no, D. See, the trifecta of all this would be Brian Dennehy, Joe Baker, and our boy Busey. Fucking Busey.
Huh?
Gary Busey.
Busey, Joe Baker, and fucking damn Dennehy in the same room. The craft table is done.
Oh my god, I'm having surviving game flashbacks. Oh Jesus.
No, son. Well, let me tell you about this one flashback I had. I was in a Toys R Us with my grandson, right? It was 1975.
God, man.
The year was 1986. I was in a Toys R Us looking for He-Man toys, and my son said, "Dad,
about He-Man." Let me tell you something about He-Man. The He-Man.
Little Jake says to me, "Daddy, I want a skunkor," and I said, "Son, life is a skunkor."
Let me tell you something about that He-Man, by the way. He-Man's queer. I don't care what anybody says. I don't have no problem with the gays or nothing. But
no man, no real man wears purple pants.
Hey Jake, where you at? Here's your dog.
Prince Adam, more like Princess Adam.
That's what I'm saying. You know, that's just me. That's me personally. Now She-Ra, I bet that lady can ride at the dick like nobody's business.
I'm gonna say this though. This movie went into the Wiz territory when we see Bill Cosby in ballet shoes, literally shaving giant ass birds.
I'll tell you what though, I have seen The Wiz way more than I have seen this movie.
This is a better movie. You know, it is not a good movie too at the same time. That's kind of weird.
Oh no, I love The Wiz.
I do not like The Wiz. The only thing I like about
the best way.
The only thing I like about The Wiz is when Michael Jackson shows the fuck up. I'm not. No,
he's on down the road.
Boy, that's the bad. I like. There's that being said about the whole ballet part. At this point, my wife is watching the movie with me, and she goes, "That's not Bill. That's not Bill." And do you see that big ass that big ass leap in the air? Me and her at the same time. That's Bill. Yeah.
I love that they have to like tell you his history. Like it's nothing like, the classic mantra in film, show don't tell. Well, they failed with the dance part because they had to stop and tell you that he worked for 3 years with the Bolshoi, Russian ballet.
Well, when you have a British guy talking over it, it kind of makes it a little catchy a little bit, So
man, I'm putting lore in this fucking movie, man. I'm putting some lore in this movie. Make it rich. Make it rich.
Put some stink on it.
Oh my gosh.
This also goes back into the power of Bill Cosby in the 80s. When he came out opening weekend and said that he was so disappointed with this film, he gave a public advice. He publicly advised people, do not waste your money on it. And because of that, that's why this movie only made $4 million at the box office.
Now, that being said, Bill may have been lying that he was blind and halfway deaf when he went to court, but he wasn't lying about this. He was right.
This was like the one and only time that he'll ever give good advice.
right?
Oh my gosh, man.
But let's talk about the true star of the film. His David Mayer, the man who plays Man Ray. He was the victim of the head explosion.
Oh yeah.
Probably one of my favorite parts of the film. Like I said, all my favorite parts of this movie revolve around anything that like Medusa or her minions are doing.
Man, look, when he said Quellish, I was like, well, shit's about to go down now.
Yeah.
I got a question. Who was fucking Dr. Strangelove in the fucking in the wheelchair? Who was that? Who was that guy?
Oh! You mean the guy? Hold up, I know you're talking about like the guy that was in the wheelchair, aka the smartest person in the whole movie. Kill him!
Kill him again.
I mean, dude, was he wrong? Every time, every time Medusa had him, like first of all, she's making every movie trope. Every villain trope. Occurrence happened. Like she would say something. First of all, she's monologuing. Second of all, she's telling the grand scheme of her master plan. She's showing the main character the fucking weapon of mass destruction that she's gonna use. Meanwhile, smartest man in the wheelchair, kill him. Kill him.
Okay.
Well, I mean, hey, I love that her minions are all young, well-built dudes in like leotards the whole movie. I was like, oh, hey, all right, cool.
I also liked that.
And that one, dude that had the boomerang was like, oh, I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, do you know how boomerangs work?
That was a funny joke. The knife boomerang.
It's a real shame.
It's like he's like, anything but the boomerang knife, anything but that. Boy, you want to talk about how shitty that thing looked when he threw it?
Yes, that's what I was. I'm glad I let you finish because that's exactly what I was going to say. My God.
I mean, you didn't even try, did you?
Oh my gosh! You know what? There's a lot of comedy.
Just Light and Magic, it was not.
You know what? And when it hit him, I thought to myself, you know what, movie? That's another one. That was actually kind of funny. That was kind of funny. Why did you do that? Oh my goodness!
Oh Jesus Christ, man!
I liked when him and his wife were escaping. They got on those horses, and out of nowhere, they got those jockey outfits, like with no explanation. They both had jockeys. I was thinking to myself, why did they even need them? Like this movie just don't even.
I'm wilding out. I'm wilding out that there's literally a scene where we literally see 1 minute of Cosby downing, I guess, some bourbon before he takes the bullet out. I'm like. They spent 1 minute of him drinking. Oh, okay.
Yeah, one continuous take.
Yeah, one continuous take. I was like, okay, this is.
Well, you know what, Chris? They could have done it the original way where he puts a motherfucking roofie inside of that thing and just straight right out. Come on, that's too simple. Bill knows how to balance out these pills, but
or the magic bee that makes him get access to the room with the soap dish stuff.
I really thought that part was interesting. I'm like, wait a minute, you have a magic bee in a box? All right.
And look,
you know what, Bill? You do you, okay?
Oh, when the bees started attacking those workers, the other men, I was like, there's bees, even though it's obviously sand that's getting thrown at us to look like bees, but they're bees.
I hear Nicolas Cage did the same thing for The Wicker Man.
And my wife would have had all y'all dying. She's like, no, not the bees. They're in my eye. In my eye.
Real talk. You know the best part of this movie?
No.
When Bill See, best part for me for this piece of video, he gets I don't know whether it's sick or not. He literally says Quellish in front of rabbits, and we get a scene that's supposed to be all serious, and it's literally rabbits killing Joe Don and them. I'm like, I should laugh at this, but I don't want to laugh at this. I really don't.
No. Actually, no.
I really couldn't laugh. I really couldn't laugh at the shadow of somebody holding quite literally a stuffed animal of a rabbit killing them.
Hey, Monty Python did it, and it was funny.
I'm about to say Monty Buddy, because that was different, man. I told you it was a little buddy, but no, you didn't want to listen. They set it up. See,
Yeah, Monty Python did it. It was funny, just like when Martin shit out of whatever the fuck that was when he was on that island.
Ain't no damn puppet Gina.
Like that was funny,
and
then that was funny, and also on the same show, whenever he grabs somebody, tosses them over the couch, and then picks them up to like smash the head to his door when we know that that's a dummy and not the real person. That shit's funny.
Now
this wasn't
right. And they even set it up right, because when you say Monty Python, Mo, it's like they set it up. I mean, look at the bones. I love it.
Hey, real talk though. Shout outs to the product placement of Safeway. You know, that was a thing.
Oh man, okay, that was funny. This just
old school Safeway too with the logo.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit.
Where it's just
you know it's bad when you're saying one of the funny parts of the movie is product placement, right?
Yeah. And I liked how they figured out, hey, we could just this looks just like this liquid looks just like dish detergent. So Palmolive, and yeah, that was another sponsor. They poured Palmolive in there, and I liked how they went back over to Medusa. She was like, of course, we made it look like that, so you could do that. And I was like, this is terrible. Right?
I could have put yoo-hoo in it, and it would have worked just the same.
When she said that, this is Dee's actual words. This movie is fucking stupid.
I mean, is it just as stupid as them having that chase where his butler Matt pops up in the bus and then homegirl pops up in his car, and I'm like, okay.
Once again, if this was Mel Brooks, that would have been great. It would have been funny. No. This movie refuses to say comedy. What's that? That's what it. Wow.
So you know what? I would complain about a car that has a fucking tank cannon on top, but
they didn't use it.
But they used it one time. That was it.
I mean, they just had Bill riding around in a freaking like armored camel. I'm sorry, an armored camoed Porsche.
My wife said the best thing about that. CD, there's flames in the back, so it goes faster, you see.
Hey, look. See, I would bitch about that, but I was like, I like Batman 89, and he had fire on his car. Well, who can I really be mad about? I can't really be mad about that.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Jack Nicholson should have been playing the role of Bill Cosby in this movie.
Oh, you know what, Mo? A toaster could have been playing Bill Cosby.
Toaster
better.
You know what, though? You know what? Fucking Mr. Tibbs himself, Sidney Poitier would have been better in this role.
You know what? Sadly, I think that's what was missing from this movie.
Instead of Joe Don Baker, it'd be
instead of Joe Don Baker, Sidney Poitier could have honestly saved this movie.
All right, so we've talked enough about the things we loved about this movie. No, but for real though, like, here's the thing. And I know that Naked Gun. When did Naked Gun come out?
I think 89, 90?
89.
So it would have been a couple of years. Now Leonard is trying to do what Naked Gun successfully did. It's obvious. Yeah. You know, they're trying that you get a deadpan lead, you know, because Bill's not trying to be funny in this movie.
No, he's not.
I couldn't tell, Mo. I really couldn't tell.
Like, you could have fooled me.
Well, here's the thing. It's like he wants to have his cake too. Like, he wants to have those serious deadpan moments, but he also wants to have funny moments. And neither of them really work because, like, the deadpan moments actually are what need to be the funny moments, and then the funny moments need to be deadpan. And it does not work. Now, you sit and you wonder, what would Leslie Nielsen do in this role? Like, I mean, come the fuck on. It would have been amazing.
WWLN.
What would Leslie Nielsen do? How about pick up the ball and run the fuck out of the stadium with it?
Look, here's the one thing. Like, that being said, like, yeah,
he would have put on his name tag that says Enrico Palazzo, and he would have gone and done the job.
Exactly. Like, look, Spy Hard wasn't the best funny, like, best silly movie like that, but it was funny. They had funny parts in it.
Yeah.
You can legit say it. It's because of Leslie Nielsen's time and all the rest of that. He knew what he was doing. Bill, like you said, and that's actually a perfect analogy of it. He wanted his cake and eat it too. And you can't have that in these type of movies, man. If he was deadpan serious, maybe one scene where he was mugging or so, fine. But other than that, if he was serious the whole time, it would have been hilarious.
Well, and there's a great example too of, and I know we're not talking about Leslie Nielsen, but I'm going to bring him up because he's much more interesting than this movie is. He's in that classic sci-fi, Forbidden Planet, which is a serious role. Like it's a straight up serious role. But he has a line in there, and it's really the delivery of how he does it that is arguably one of the funniest like comedic deliveries maybe of all time. So he's watching one of the native girls, who of course is like a blonde-haired, white woman, because that makes sense. And she's swimming, and she says to him, "Why don't you take off your suit?" And he turns around and he goes, "Oh, murder!" And just the way he says it, it's one of the funniest fucking deliveries of all time.
I think,
that was in 1956, by the way.
Again, I think it all it kind of falls on the director and it falls on the. And there was nobody. This was all Bill's idea. Right. You know what I mean? You could tell it's all his idea, man.
I mean, I just got a kick out of just everything. Like, look, when I saw, even as a kid, I told you this. Like, even as a kid, I watched this and I thought it was ridiculous. Like, you literally put a burger in a guy's face and he's all screaming like, "Oh God!" Ah! I'm like,
right. I think something I laughed at as a kid. That was the only funny thing as a kid because I didn't get what vegetarianism is. And now that I'm a fat ass and I'm like 1/3 vegan right now already.
Like how you specified 1/3 vegan.
So does that mean that you'll sometimes eat broccoli with a meal? I mean, what?
So there's lettuce on this sandwich. I'm good.
Yeah. There's lettuce on this taco. I'm 1/3 vegan.
Hey. I'm eating this hot dog. Put that. Give me 1 carrot. There you go.
No. D. See, here's how you knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. You eat a Chicago dog, which has vegetables on it. You're good to go.
You can get that dirty shit out of my face. I'm not. I do not eat that. No. It's bad enough that I'm already halfway vegetarian already. So I think it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's the way it's played is just so stupid.
Dude, the lobster fucking scene right there, I was just like, yo, really?
The lobster scene. The lobster scene. Oh my God.
Rubber bands, fellas.
Fuck you, Mo. Fuck you for that. That made my head hurt. That just made my head hurt.
I was like, let me get it right. Butter makes the freaking lobsters crawl back in fear. I'm like,
dude, I'm surprised the lobsters weren't going when he broke out the butter, man. Yo,
he told a crab, "You better cut the rope." I'm like, really? We're doing this?
Yep, we're doing.
How about when they first came through the fucking wall?
I'm like, oh shit, the Toxic Avengers are here. They're gonna fuck up Bill.
Okay, crabs breaking through the wall. All right, no one's gonna question that, I guess. But then Bill, you just had to add to it. Where are your rubber bands, fellas?
Again,
movie, end already. I can't take anymore.
You know what? Here's how we end this. Everything blew up, and we got the money shot.
Put tons of fucking damn liquid water, dude. You gotta emphasize that.
That was Alka-Seltzer, my friend.
That was Alka-Seltzer, first off. And second of all, Bill Cosby hopped off a roof. I'm saying, Bill Cosby hopped off a roof of a building with an ostrich, like he was fucking Diddy Kong in Donkey Kong Country. He ran off a top of a building. I love that song.
So basically what we're saying is that this entire movie would have been better if everybody had been recast as somebody else except Joe Don Baker.
Yeah. Joe Don Baker needed to be who he was.
Yeah.
Actually, you want to know the truth, Mo? If this movie ever existed, it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. Excellent. Do you what better? Just up the ante. If it was a race,
don't exist. Just scrub it.
But I mean, here's the thing. Airplane came out 7 years before this movie did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So again, going back to Leslie Nielsen, because he's a better actor and funnier. You know, if this had been, if Bill had realized that this would have been funnier with somebody who's a comedic mastermind for deadpan, aka Leslie Nielsen, and had put it, like, he had written the story and put it out there, you know, like, the basic story's not bad. I've said that already. It works on paper. Like, it needed punching up big time. It could have used with some different casting. And frankly, if they had gone all out and did this right, it could have been fantastic. But the problem is Bill, because he's such an ego, he needs to put himself in the lead role. But I mean, like, it could have been a genuine masterpiece.
It could have been. You know, we asked the question a long time ago. We actually did Blazing Saddles. How different would it have been if Von Pryor was actually playing Bart instead of Clavon Little? And we basically came down to the answer, we'll never know, and it's probably better that we don't know. You know?
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie, though. Like, honestly,
it would have been funny. It would have been funny.
Yeah, it still would have been funny. Still have been funny, but it would not have been the same movie.
Yeah, exactly. It would have. I personally, my personal opinion is Pryor in that role. Now, Pryor has done amazing work with Gene Wilder. Amazing work, you know. But here's the thing: Cleavon is so subdued in his performance, which we all know Richard Pryor. At that point in his career, like later on in his career, he started to master the more subdued role. But at that point in his career, he was still super coked out and way off the fucking walls. Like, he would not have been able to do it the justice that Cleavon did. So my personal opinion, I think the casting in that is ideal. It's fucking perfect, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I wouldn't.
And that's when DJ Sue hops up like his favorite character in the whole movie. Now, who can argue with that? Not only was that authentic, front tier gibberish.
Now, let me ask y'all this though. All right, so you know Hollywood has a jerk off fantasy on remakes and stuff. Do you foresee?
No.
Oh no! Wow, off the break note.
No.
God damn.
Yeah. You don't even have to ask the question. The answer.
No. Put it in kerosene.
No. Like, I have a short list of directors who I feel you should never touch their work, and sadly, one of those directors, his work has been raped several times. So I feel bad about that. But the biggest names on that list is Paul Verhoeven. You should never fucking touch Paul Verhoeven's work, and yet they've already done at least two of them, and Mel Brooks. Never touch Mel Brooks ever.
Yeah.
You know, and the other one's John Waters, and I'm not entirely, you know, the only person who can fuck with John Waters' work is John Waters, and he does it.
John Waters is the only one that messes with his own shit.
Yeah. But he's also out there demanding it to be messed with, so I let him do his thing. He's into the musical thing now. Let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But it's just funny, though, because if we talk about black movies, right, it's amazing that since this movie, I don't think there's ever been any sort of black equivalent since then.
Wait, you guys watch
bad?
Yeah, like on the level of bad. And that's coming a lot of the fact that we watched like Tyler Perry movies and the movies, so it's like, it's kind of amazing.
Oh, they're bad. They're just a different type of bad. Here's the funny thing. Here's the thing about that. See, a Tyler Perry movie, they're bad, but even in a Madea movie, it gets bad. There's going to be two scenes where you go, fuck you, movie. I didn't laugh. The thing about it is that's a different type of bad. This bad is all the way bad where you're like, look, I'm not entertained at all. And when you get it,
but our entire conversation just proves that that's not true.
I mean, well, yeah, you're actually right. You're actually right.
You know, there are a handful of moments in this movie that kind of like show you the potential of how genius it could have been.
It could have. But you know what? We haven't had any black movie this bad. No.
Yeah.
We haven't. bad movie this bad.
I think Kevin Hart can look at Bill Cosby like, hey, nigga, I did Soul Plane, and that shit wasn't even that goddamn bad.
Soul Plane. Look, Soul Plane is funny. The problem about it is it has what I like to call cut. The joke is over. Cut. It has that problem. That's Soul Plane's biggest problem. Even though the running gag that every time he tries to talk to the girl and you just hear something loud goes over it, I think that's kind of funny. But look, we never did a movie this bad for a black movie in a while. Actually, we don't
see. I wouldn't know. I don't watch black movies.
It's a lie, Mo. It's a lie, Mo. Last I checked.
That's a lie.
Pure fiction. Pure fiction.
Hey, D, just so you know, that movie also suffered from the stigma of, this movie reinforces the negative stereotype of what it would be to have a black-owned airline.
See, look, it's, again, and much like this movie, it's actually funny on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say right now, if Leonard,
a lot of it is funny.
You know what's fucked up? Is that you'll have a bunch of alt-right people if Leonard Part 6 came out nowadays. See, this is why you can't have a black James Bond, because of that shit. You know what'll happen. You know they would do it.
Wow. Yes, they would. Yes, they would, man. But you know what? It makes me glad that at least we had a silly black movie that was hilarious and that we're getting a sequel for it. Thank you, Black Dynamite, for showing us something that's hilarious. Now, I really hope the Western that they have is going to be as funny as I'm asking for. As funny. It doesn't have to be funny in the Black Dynamite, but it still needs to be just good old blaxploitation Western funny.
See, now I don't know what Michael Jai White's history is with Westerns. Like I don't know at all. But he clearly had a history with blaxploitation films, because you can't make a movie like Black Dynamite and have it be as on the nose, perfect, tonally, comedically, like the action, everything is just perfection. You can't have that without having a deep understanding of the material. Like I'll tell you, back in the early 2000s, I want to say, no, before that, late 90s, fuck me. I started writing a blaxploitation film, and I got about 15 pages in before I realized maybe it's not the best idea for me to write this. Because I realized that a lot of the jokes, although funny, come off really bad. Coming from a white dude. But I had a couple of black dudes helping me write it, and we were working it. But like my understanding of blaxploitation at that point was surface level. Like I had gone into it deep. I mean, over the next couple of decades, obviously, I would delve into the deepest of the deep with that shit. And I could probably pull something off now. I'm due because of the political climate that we live in.
Hey, Mo, you know what? Real talk, Mo. I want you and I to write basically our version, A Guy from Harlem. That may be the worst exploitation movie I've. And I think Dolomite's terrible, but Dolomite's iconic. So that's different.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that Rudy Ray Moore gets a pass on like all of the shit that he did because he's so iconic. Like Petey Wheat's a piece of shit.
Oh God, that's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, but I love it. But
then you got Disco Godfather.
Disco Godfather, Human Tornado. Yeah, they're terrible.
Okay. I kind of like Human Tornado, but it's terrible.
Ernie Hudson,
But I mean, like, but you need to. But the problem is, like, not the problem. Like, the reason why those movies succeed in any sense that they do is because of Rudy Ray Moore and because of the, the culture around him before that. I sound really white right now. And like, so people knew who he was and they knew what his shtick was. So like when he comes on and he starts, rapping, and which also sounds very white the way I just said it.
No, that's the best way to say it. He just starts rapping.
Well, that's what he does. But that was rapping before rapping was rapping. It's
or as me and CJ can say, Oh, here come that crack joking again. Crackheads joke like that. Let me tell you a story. Here on this crackhead motherfucker.
Exactly.
Every
story is super bad. You know? Yeah. No.
Every time. This nigga came outside. It's like, okay, dude, why are you yelling? It's 2:30 in the daytime.
You know? You better move and do it fast, or I'm gonna stick my hush puppies up your ass.
And all his crackhead friends are making those crackhead lads like, It's like, yo, man, stop.
But yeah, but back to the original point I was making was, like, I don't know what Michael Jai White's history with Westerns is, and if it's honestly even half as much as it is with blaxploitation, I think it's going to be fucking fantastic. He's already proven that he has got an amazing sense of humor and for comic timing specifically, and obviously, like, if there's any kind of physical activity happening, he can handle himself because he's a fucking amazing martial artist. There is one kick that, like, when I saw Black Dynamite in theater, like, I wished I could have stopped it and rewound that moment 15 times because that kick was so amazing. It's when they're in the warehouse and the guy's walking up and he does that weird, like, over the back, sweeping leg thing to the guy's head. It's so hard to explain what he does, but it's motion action. It's one of the best kicks I've ever seen in a movie ever. And like, when I did finally get the movie, like when I got the DVD, like, I did exactly that. I just watched that scene like 10 times in a row because I'm like, that is so.
I like how Moe focused on that, and me and Chris were stuck on that one part where Bullhorn punches that dude. Motherfucker in this
Chicago wind.
Yo, I like to say for the record though, it's funny too because last thing about Leonard Part 6, the fact that Bill Cosby tried to have an action scene where he's fighting a person and it's still shit. He dared to try to do it, and it's like, yo, this shit is still shit. You didn't do anything.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That's enough.
That's
Moe,
enough.
I thank you so much for coming on here, man, because like I said, I really mean it. After 250 episodes, I really am glad that you're still friends with us. And I'm glad that No Budget Nightmares still has somewhat of a pulse. I really mean that. I really mean that.
No Budget Nightmares is alive and well, thank you very much.
It's alive and well, motherfucker.
We have a small but rabid following. And
hey, look, you said y'all guys hit 100 episodes after 6 years. That's more than most podcasts that survived that long. So
right.
That's kudos. That's huge. That's huge.
John Cross did that in about 3 weeks, but it's
dude. You're not lying.
I know, right?
John told me, like, I remember that one was like sometime last year, like, oh, I think I want to slow down a little bit. Like, slow down? What's slowing down to you, John? What's like, dude?
When aren't you not slowing down? All right, Jesus.
I remember that like 3-month period where he wrote a new song for every weekly episode. Like, what the fuck, man? Dude, like, where do you get that kind of dedication or talent? Can I have some?
That's more than most indie fucking writers that hit us up on Twitter with SoundCloud links. I'm like, damn, John's doing more fucking work than them motherfuckers.
Yeah, but I really mean that, Mo. I'm actually really, and I ain't say that to make it sound like we're superior, nothing, kinda. But but no,
I get it. I get it. Hashtag Black Excellence. I understand.
This white boy gets it. He just gets it. But I really mean that, though, Mo. I am so glad that your show is that you're still
Mo.
doing.
What? Mo, hey, look, man. Here's a plate. Help yourself to the black bar.
Put aluminum foil on that motherfucker. Hey guys, can I bring some collard greens? I ain't got raisins in that motherfucker, does it?
Mo, I know Mo is smart enough to be like, look, I don't put that raisin shit in fucking potato salad. I just give you the straight up potato salad. I'm just saying
come on, you gotta remember, I lived with Jamaica for 7 years. Please.
Yeah, exactly.
Mo will fuck everybody up and bring like curry goat, and everybody like, curry goat? What the fuck?
Hey yo,
and it'll be green, and everybody will be like, what the fuck? Why is this meat green? And fucking delicious, that's why.
You ain't lying.
Dude, but I really mean
and that. You are in Florida, so you best get cracking on that.
well, I am a cracker.
Crackers get cracking. But yeah, so Yeah, that's it for this episode, man. That is it for this episode, man. Once again, Mo. Actually, you know what, Mo? Go ahead and tell everybody about your delightful podcast.
All right, so every other week or so, me and the Canadian Doug Tilley. I do have to say Canadian because he has an accent.
I'm about to say specifying that he's Canadian.
He does say sorry a lot.
Sorry.
But we put out a show dedicated specifically to micro budget, no budget, low budget cinema called No Budget Nightmares. And we actually just, our most recent episode, probably the most controversial to date, we did a film called Jesus Christ Serial Rapist.
Wow. What?
It's a huge pile of shit, so I don't suggest watching it.
No.
In fact, if you ever see a film with the director Bill Z. Bub,
I heard about that dude.
Just pass on him. Yeah,
I heard about that dude.
We've covered one other film of his, Ant Farm Dickhole, which is also kind of a piece of shit, but at least has moments. This one doesn't even have that.
I mean, look, I just looked at a picture of the dude. Yeah, I'm staying the fuck away from that guy. Nope.
Right.
Nope.
And then the next film, we're actually going into Japanese. So we've done Japanese cinema before. I have to remember what the fucking name of the movie is, though. My brain is off, so I'm gonna vamp here for a second until I can find the thing. Here we go. The next film we're covering is Doug has already seen, so he knows it's a lot of fun. This is basically, call it the Japanese Evil Dead. It's called Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell.
Oh.
Okay, so somebody clearly knows about this.
I've heard of this. When are you doing the Mo?
Within the next couple of weeks. It should be out within the next couple of weeks. Just based on what I've seen of it so far, it looks like it's going to be just a lot of fun. And it'll be a good, bring it back to the stuff that we're more known for, because obviously the Bill Z. Bub stuff is not very it's not popular, definitely. Like, this is the first, let's put it this way, this is the first that we've ever had where people have actively said to us, I won't be listening to this episode. and honestly, me and Doug's response to that was, I completely condone that action. Yeah, you don't need, it's one of our shortest episodes ever, because the last hour of the movie, and I'm not kidding, the last hour of a hour and 37-minute film is still photography.
Wow.
With a Ken Burns pan effect on it, while heavy metal music plays. Well, the whole movie is just, there's no dialogue in the movie whatsoever. There's none. All of the film is told through title cards, and the title cards don't really match up to what's actually happening on screen. So yay. But the last hour is just Ken Burns, still photography, with heavy metal music playing over it. And it's painful. I watched that entire movie on 4 times speed, and still managed to take notes, like accurate notes. And but even with that still only makes that last hour like 15 minutes. And those 15 minutes were tedious. Like, it was painful. Wow. Anyway, enough of that. You can find us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/NoBudgetNightmares. Do a search for No Budget Nightmares and find it on there. We are on Twitter. I'm at DrunkOnVHS, or if you want to follow Doug, who actually posts on Twitter, I don't. He's at Doug_Tilley. It's Tilley. And you can find all our archive of previous episodes on NoBudgetPodcast.com.
Cool.
Awesome.
Dope. So, that's our interpretation of Leonard Part 6. Quite possibly better than the actual movie itself. So,
it is.
Yeah, this is without a doubt way more entertaining.
Except we didn't have to quaalude anybody to get them to actually listen to this. So there you go.
Oh wait, hold on. We didn't have to.
We didn't have to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, Mo. Put the bag down.
I've already gotten like 4 people.
Okay, we 3 Black Geeks. We had nothing to do with that. Just
Like, just want that statement directly.
Say that directly. Disclaimer.
We do not condone the actions of
There's a Mr. Porne. None of it. On one, and she kind of had it coming. But look, the point is, it's like, wait, sure.
Well, I was the one who was coming.
Whoa.
Whoa.
All right. Anyway, that's it. Next, since we set up for this month, well, for next month until we get to our American summer. Next episode, we just want the money.
See you later, guys. Peace.